Yo, is this a jazz joint?
Air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I feel that air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the code, had to break the safe. I've been righting my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Roddy Rich and go bicycle, love me. Ride away, then my heart went on ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. I've been up on your side like we out of bounds. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. Air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I feel that air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out.
What's up, football fans? Welcome to the Air It Out podcast. I am your wonderful, gracious, amazing host. My name is Avery, and I don't know if you guys can see, but we've got a full slate of amazing analysts here today. We're only missing the 1+1 today. But yeah, anyway, I'm happy because, we've got some people back here who haven't been on the Air It Out podcast in a minute. You know what I'm saying? We haven't had the full squad back in a while. So, Coach, say what's up to the people, man. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Yeah, what's up? Long football season. Then had a moving process. Bought a crib though.
Come on.
That's one thing. But yeah, just glad to be back, people. Ready to talk football. Honestly, I'm just long football season, man.
Listen, I can imagine. Congratulations on becoming a homeowner, sir. Shout out to you. That's fire. All right, Chris, what's up, man? Say what's up to the folks, man. We got an interesting game going on today. Michigan versus Ohio State. How you feeling?
That's good, man. The game is about to start in about 10 minutes, but I'm still glad to be on. We got a full crew here. It's been a while since I've seen like all of us, sitting down, talk football. Once again, Coach, congrats on being a homeowner. That's also a dream of mine as well.
Appreciate
Hopefully I'll be able to, grow up and be like you one day.
I hear that. Listen, I'm going to be right behind you, Coach, one day. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get there. Darius, 2 weeks in a row? Who are you? You acting brand new. What's up, man?
Yeah, man, you don't have to make it 2 weeks. Last week we hopped on. This week we back. Darren, congratulations on buying a house. That's definitely dope, brother. And I'm ready to talk football, man. I'm ready to talk. We got some interesting stuff to get into today, so I'm ready.
This is true. You are not lying about that. So why don't we just do what you said and get into it? We're going to go right into our first topic, okay? And I'm going to be very frank about it, okay? I want to know from you guys, are the Eagles the best team in the league? Like, we've seen teams come and try to beat these guys. I mean, they've got, one loss, maybe two losses, one loss on the season. They're absolutely, it's like every time you think they're about to collapse, they end up pulling it out. And I still stand by. They still haven't played great football yet, and they're 9-1. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty scary. So I'm going to just ask the question straight up, and I'm going to start with the resident Eagles fan here. Coach, are the Eagles the best team in the NFL right now, in your opinion? Would you say that they are the best team in the NFL?
I'm going to pass this off to the resident Eagles fan, Chris Thomas.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Oh, okay. Listen, Coach, in due time, listen, to get your thoughts together. We'll definitely do this, man. Listen, Bird Gangster together, man. Fly, Eagles, fly, man. Welcome to the right flock.
I regret trying to be a great husband now sometimes.
No, but in all seriousness, the answer is yes. I'm not being a homer. I'm not being biased whatsoever. This whole fascination of ugly wins and style points, that only equates to college football. Only in college football you equate to beating down and dominating your opponent for style points to get the perfect rankings. In the end, in the NFL, none of that really matters. You get in where you fit in, you win how you win. And more importantly, the Eagles lost both offensive coordinators. They lost a significant amount of free agents, particularly on the defensive side of the football. So we have two new coordinators, both on the offensive and defensive side. And more importantly, when you look at it just from an optics standpoint, Avery's right. The Eagles still haven't played their best brand of football. And the funny thing is, this is still a top 5 offense. Our secondary has been completely decimated by injuries. Darius Slay had to miss a game. Bradbury had to miss a game. Our safeties have been a massive rotating shuffle of guys since the start of the season against the Patriots. And more importantly, shout out to Howie, because any other GM would have been perfectly content, but his ability to get Bradbury will be off free agency, traded for Kevin Byard, and for all intents and purposes, Shaq Leonard is now a free agent, and they just released Derek Barnett. So it wouldn't surprise me one way or another if by next week's time, before the 49ers game, Shaq Leonard is in midnight green. So the fact that we still haven't played our best ball together, we've been dealing with injuries, particularly on the secondary and on the offensive line, and the fact that we went to Arrowhead down by 10 points, and it wasn't ugly and it wasn't pretty by any sight. The fact that we were able to muster up a comeback and Jalen Hurts to still be able to move the ball in a way that a lot of people still haven't seen it from a pocket quarterback sense, it speaks volumes. So right now, I don't want to hear anything about the Chiefs. I don't want to hear anything about the Bills. I don't want to hear about, Dallas being the best team in the NFL, beating on teams that still hasn't had any more than 4 wins this year. And the only one that can legitimately have an argument is the San Francisco 49ers, and we'll figure it out who is right now the better team between us and the 49ers on December 3rd. Other than that, it's the Eagles.
I like it. To your point, though, I'll and we're not going to unpack this much because we want to make sure that we get to the other topics. But I don't see how Shaq Leonard fits as an Eagle. Now I understand that type of caliber player, right? You would want that guy regardless. But I mean, I feel like you guys have young guys at the linebacker position that are playing well. I don't think that that's the primary need. I think you pointed out your secondary with the injuries and different things like that. I think that would be more of me personally, the focus there. But I can understand the allure of wanting, a perennial Pro Bowler and Shaq Leonard. Darius, are the Eagles the best team in the NFL to you right now, or is there somebody else that you can think of?
I'll agree with Chris. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL, right? The biggest question coming into the season with the Eagles was they lose both of their coordinators. How is Jalen Hurts going to play with his new offensive coordinator? The linebackers, what were they going to do with losing I believe it was KJ Edwards. They lost him. They lost one of their key linebackers. So that was like one of the biggest questions. And they show you week in and week out that we're going to put together a game plan. We're going to go into your house. We're going to play our brand of football. We're going to be aggressive on each and every single down. And when we get to the 1 yard line, you already know what play we're going to run. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. It's 4th and 1. It's 4th and 2. We're going to run this play. We're going to run this play. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I think the biggest takeaway is when they went into Arrowhead, my biggest thing with Philly was they didn't really have that marquee win. Like, that's one thing they were missing. They needed that one win to really solidify them. And I think to go into Arrowhead, down 17 at the half and completely shut out Patrick Mahomes. Now we know that he doesn't have receivers and this, that, and the third, but to not allow him to score a single point in the second half, that's truly on the road, and then come back and win that game and put up 21 straight points and close out that game. To me, that was it right there. To Chris's point, yes, they have to play San Fran. I think that's the next biggest challenge to them, just because San Fran, that front four is scary, right? Like, they could make it a nightmare for Jalen Hurts, and that's going to be the biggest challenge with them. But 9-1, the record speaks for itself, and Jalen Hurts is playing well.
That front seven. Don't you dare discredit that man, Fred.
I'm just saying the front four. The front four is so good that they don't even have to blitz. They can drop the other seven back.
True. This is
make it a very nightmare for Jalen Hurts. But if they can beat San Fran, then honestly, the NFC runs through the link.
Yeah, this is true. And back to the point again, not going to harp on it. And this is why I say I can understand why the Eagles would want a guy like Shaq Leonard, because you look at what San Francisco did with going out and getting Chase Young, right? It's just like if the rich get richer, they didn't need Chase Young, but at the same time, it's like he's making a difference, and you're trying to go all in because at the end of the day, it's all about winning. You want to win the chip, so I get it, Coach. Back to you. Are the Eagles? Is your team the best team in the NFL, or is there another team that you could potentially think of?
My team, the Ravens, is honestly probably one of the best teams in the league. And the only team that probably can compete with the Eagles for, but we won't see until the Super Bowl. So as of right now, though, I do have to give it to the Eagles. You got to think about it like this. In the last 2 years, let's just make it as plain as possible. Jalen Hurts has lost 3 games. 1 in the regular season this year, 1 in the regular season last year, and the Super Bowl. Those were his only 3 losses. Everything else is wins. If you win in the NFL, that's all that matters. I'm honestly one of them people, like, the stats are amazing. You can give this number for this person and this number for this person and compare teams that way. But there's one thing that never changes in how it's shown or displayed. Win, loss. He wins, that team finds ways to win. And like Chris said, though, it's scary because of the simple fact they have not played truly, truly great football yet. There's been games where you got to just say, hey, you have football guys' luck on your side. And that helps. So if you can be good and even have luck on your side, that's a really, really nasty combination of football to have, especially going into December and January. That's what teams need.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? I'm going to answer this question by giving a ranking of the top teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Honorable mention. I'll do like a Mount Rushmore, so I'll do a top 4. Honorable mention is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, playing amazing on both sides of the football. Obviously, with Bland breaking the NFL record for pick sixes, Dak is playing out of his mind. He's looking like an MVP right now. 4 touchdowns, and he's had at least 4 touchdowns in, I think, 3 or 4 NFL games this year. That's the most in the league. He's absolutely killing it right now. CeeDee Lamb, up until last game, was on a amazing tear of at least 10 catches and 150 yards in games. And over his last 5 games, I mean, he has the most receiving yards and catches in the NFL. And he scored again this Thursday. So, I mean, CeeDee Lamb is showing that, hey, yeah, we had some rockiness without Amari Cooper the first year, but I got this. I got us. And so they're my honorable mention. Number 4 in the NFL right now I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins. And I say this because offensively they can put up points with anybody in the NFL right now. Tyreek Hill is looking like an MVP candidate. I don't think I've ever seen a wide receiver win the MVP. He's playing out of his mind right now. I think he actually does get over that 2,000-yard mark. I think he sets that record. Jalen Waddle is an amazing compliment to him. Tua is playing great outside of the turnovers. You got to stop turning over the football. Raheem Mostert is phenomenal. Achane is phenomenal. Like, they look really good. And then defensively, they get Jalen Ramsey back, and all he does is come in and start catching picks and just shutting people down. I don't know if you guys remember at the beginning of the season, I said Jalen Ramsey was going to come back from injury and show everybody that he was still the best corner in the league. And everybody was like, no, he's washed, he's old. He's showing right now he's still the best corner in the NFL. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Again, they're kind of similar to the Eagles in the sense they have not played great football yet. They played good football, but not great football yet. And that's scary because they're still winning football games and they're not even at their peak yet. So it makes you wonder, what can they do when everything starts like really churning, when all of the cogs and everything work together. That's going to be a scary team right now. Lamar's looking like an MVP candidate. Absolutely amazing play right now. We'll see what he does without Mark Andrews, but we'll see what that looks like going forward. Number 2, I'm going to say is I'm kidding. It's the 49ers. The 49ers are the second best team in the NFL right now. Obviously, defensive side of the ball. I mean, they're the best defense in the NFL. They have been for the last 4 years. They've been absolutely phenomenal. But offensively, Brock Purdy is showing, like, no, I am that guy. Like, this wasn't a fluke. They didn't get rid of Garoppolo. They didn't get rid of Trey Lance for no reason. I'm that guy. Like, I can play quarterback in the NFL. Deebo Samuel, phenomenal. Brandon Ayuk, phenomenal. Christian McCaffrey could potentially be an MVP candidate as well. So they're number 2, but obviously I think we all agree the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL, and it's because on both sides of the football, they're playing just well enough to have them at 9-1. And it's, again, I'll say it again, they have not played great football just yet. Ryan Clark said something that I completely agree with. He said Jalen Hurts is the best right now, the best clutch time, big game performing quarterback in the NFL right now. And if I had to choose one guy to go into a big game with, I'm choosing Jalen Hurts. And it's not from a standpoint of the guy is just head over heels IQ, better than guys, or more athletic than some other guys, or more accurate. It's not any of those things. It's one thing and one thing only that makes Jalen Hurts the guy that you want to go to, and it's his poise. He never, ever seems rattled. The guy, it doesn't matter. As you see, pointed out, they were down in Arrowhead, and he said, cool, I got it. And he was playing horrible, like fumbles and interceptions, and then comes back and says, you know what, my arm's not doing it. Let me go ahead and run this thing in here. Touchdown. Like, he's just so poised at every single stage of the game. And I think when you have a guy like that, it reminds me of the old Seattle Seahawks teams with Russell Wilson, when they would be down and you see Russ on the sideline saying, guys, chill out, we got this. And then, like, he would make magic happen. And I see the same type of thing in Jalen Hurts, where that poise is just carrying his team. So I got to get to the Eagles. Darius, last thoughts, and we'll move on to the next topic.
I'll add this too. Like you said, Jalen Hurts not being poised, but the coaching staff, right? Like, they believe in him. It matters when your head coach can believe in you to get your team out of a rut and to get you, and they have that confidence in you. That makes you more confident. We look at C.J. Stroud. You saw what he said. Steph Curry misses a couple of threes. He's still shooting the ball. I throw a couple of interceptions. I'm still going to be out there and be aggressive. And I know in the back of my head, my coaches believe in me. So I got to believe in myself, and I got to pull my team out of this. So I think it's great when you're not rattled, especially in a hostile environment like Arrowhead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. So, yeah, that poise is something about poise that can make up for your deficits in other areas, right? Being able to be poised can really change, and I think that's really what it's what's lending itself to their record and them still winning. Is he's encouraging his teammates without even saying a word. It's just his poise, his disposition on the football field. It's like, how could you not still believe that we have a chance to win this game when the leader of the team is just like, yeah, I threw a pick. Yeah, I fumbled the football. Yeah, we down at Arrowhead. And and you still see time on the clock? Oh, all right. Like, it's going to change the entire – like, that's the type of teammate, that's the type of leader that you want, that when the storm comes, they can take a nap. Y'all missed it, but it's cool. All right, we're going to jump into the next topic. And the next topic is very simple, okay? I want to know who you have right now as your midseason MVP. I think I named a couple different candidates, but you guys may have a different answer. You guys may articulate a name that I did not previously mention. So I'm going to start with you, Darius. Tell me, who do you believe is the MVP this far in the season?
Well, if I had to pick, we all know the MVP trophy, right? It's going to go to the quarterback on the best team. So we know that. So that's probably going to be, as long as Jalen Hurts plays the way he's playing, this award is his. Last year should have been his, and I think this year he's coming for that MVP award. But most importantly, he's more important. More important is the Super Bowl. My opinion, my MVP, honestly, is a non-QB. I think we kind of all can agree that he deserves some type of votes. It's Tyreek Hill. I mean, what Tyreek Hill is doing for the position itself is truly ridiculous. Like, this guy, you can't jam him because he'll run past you. You double him, he's still gonna run. Like, this guy literally just runs right past you. And then, like, his yards at the catch, he's probably one of the best receivers at yards at the catch. I think Tyreek Hill is the MVP. He's gonna probably break the season-seeing receiving record. He's gonna do 2,000. Like, he said it before this season that was his goal. And I believe that he's going to get it. And I believe that if he does get it, then he should automatically become MVP regardless of his team's record, because what he's doing, I think, and I believe somebody said he's the most scariest player in the NFL right now. When you see Miami and you got the Dolphins, no matter where you're at, you're circling Tyreek. Where's number 10? Where is he going to be on the field? Where are their motion of him at right now? Is he in the slot? Is he in the outside? What is he doing? Like, he's that dangerous. And it's like, how do you really – it's only a few teams that really can limit Tyreek Hill. But even when you really limiting him if he's putting up over 50 yards? That's still a decent game for him. So I believe Tyreek Hill. Obviously, we got some other guys, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown. He's another one. Like, how do you stop these guys? Where is number 11? But to me, it's Tyreek Hill, man. I think he's having a phenomenal season, and I really hope he breaks that record.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's doing right now. 1,300 yards already, 10 touchdowns already, and like, again, we just passed the halfway mark of the season. I believe we're week 12 now. Like, that's phenomenal, right? Like, the guy's on an amazing tear. I hope he stays healthy, just so we can see what happens, whether he wins the MVP or not. I hope he stays healthy so we can see what happens. Coach, who do you have as your midseason MVP right now? Is it Tyreek Hill? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it somebody else?
CJ Stroud. I'm going CJ Stroud on this one, and I'm sorry. It's hilarious because no one will believe me. No one thinks I'm like losing it fully, but they like, I wouldn't give it to him yet. The kid got the Texans playing unbelievable football. I think Dell looks like a legitimate wide receiver. Nico Collins looks like a legitimate wide receiver. Everyone, y'all heard Noah Brown, right? Y'all remember him from the Cowboys and all these other teams, and he couldn't seem to do it. Now he looks like a legitimate receiver over there in the Texans, right? The Texans actually, with D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud leading the way, they're in the playoffs right now. They're in the playoffs. The kid has only thrown 2, maybe 3 interceptions on the year, almost 20 touchdowns, has had 2 comeback wins against good teams, beat the Bengals. Like, the kid is doing things that we thought we would have seen maybe more so from Bryce Young or someone else, but he is outseeding what I've expected from him to the point where if he can replicate this another year, we're going to have to be talking about this kid in the top 10, top 5 easily for the next decade. So, yeah, CJ Stroud. And I don't see it slowing down.
Wow, that's lofty. That's a lofty take right there. I'm not mad at it though. But that is a lofty take. I mean, I think I would, without question, say Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Please remember, MVP is the most valuable player. If you take CJ Stroud off of that team, that team is not doing that.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I think, without question, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I just don't know how I feel, and this is maybe just be a personal preference of giving a rookie MVP. But at the same time, you know, if he's earned it, he's earned it. You know, the precedent can be set. You know, so I'm not mad at it at all, Chris. I mean, do you agree? Do you think C.J. Stroud, the first Ohio State quarterback to actually be good in the NFL, is the MVP, or is it somebody else? What's going through your mind?
Well, Coach, first of all, that was an excellent pick. CJ Stroud I'm even gonna go bolder. He has been a top 10 quarterback this year. You can't name me 10 quarterbacks that have been better this year, period, better than CJ Stroud. And if we're talking about the MVP award, the Texans were the number 2 worst team in the league last year.
Thank you. They're in the playoffs.
And if let's just say they've already beaten Jacksonville. If they sweep Jacksonville, they're on their way to win the AFC South. They win 10 games, and CJ Stroud continues his pace. He's going to be leading the league in touchdown passes. That seems like an MVP to me.
He's in the top 3 in touchdown yards. He only has 5 interceptions, and he went up until week almost 7 before throwing his second one.
It's not a bad take.
Yeah,
it's not a bad take. It's a hot take. It's a lofty take, but that's
not even a hot take.
That's a medium well take at that point.
Yeah,
that's a microwave take. Lukewarm. But no, but my MVP, like, obviously, it's a quarterback-based award, and I'm going to say at this point, so I agree with Darius's point, but to me, this hasn't been a year in which quarterbacks are normally dominating the way we normally see them. So if a non-quarterback is going to win it this year, this would be the year. But I will disagree with Darius about Tyreek Hill being the most scariest non-quarterback in the league. No, because my MVP pick is actually a defensive player. It's the man who is leading the charge on the number 1 defense in all of football from the Cleveland Browns, our CEO, Jerome Jones, a.k.a. Myles Garrett. Listen, the guy has 13 sacks in 10 games of the season. His career high is 16. So he's already on pace to break his career high in sacks. He's got 4 forced fumbles. And when you look at the massive carousel that the Cleveland Browns offense has been, Deshaun Watson is now out for the year. They lost Nick Chubb earlier this season. So they're not really getting that much support from their offense outside of really complimentary running game football. And more importantly, nobody has been double teamed more in the NFL than Myles Garrett. 32% of snaps, Myles Garrett is seeing a double team. The closest one to getting seen the same amount of double teams is Micah Parsons with 29%. He has been getting double teamed, and Myles Garrett is still a massive unit in regards to terrorizing opposing players. So if they're going to see a non-quarterback win it, that's my pick. Show some defensive love, because defensive players never get any sort of consideration for being the most valuable player.
Yeah. As a former defensive player, I love that take. However, I can't agree that it should go to Myles. And the only reason I say that is because of Coach's point, most valuable, right? And because he plays on the side of the ball where he can't really dictate fully wins and losses, it's really, really tough. Now, does he deserve some consideration? Without question. So I love the take. And like I said, as a former defensive player, I do love the take from that regard as well. But I think they have an award for that type of guy. It's Defensive Player of the Year. But for most valuable to the team's success, I understand why it's a quarterback award, but I think for me, if I was going to choose anybody, I'm going to give an honorable mention, and then I'm going to talk about 2 guys. My honorable mention is actually, I agree with Coach. I'm going to say C.J. Stroud is my honorable mention. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year. And so I really think he deserves some consideration for the MVP race, because he's just been playing really good. Like you said before, has the Texans gone from the second worst team in the league to now potentially winning and leading the division and making the playoffs. That's, as a rookie, I mean, the last time we saw something like that was Dak Prescott and Zeke. So like, that's just, I mean, he's killing it. He doesn't have a Zeke. It's him. He's balling right now. So yeah, but the 2 guys I want to talk to, you guys about as far as MVP consideration that are not quarterbacks, right? Obviously, Jalen is on the winningest team in football right now. However, if we're going to be honest, he doesn't have MVP numbers, right? The numbers don't align with the record. But because he's the face of that franchise, he's absolutely balling and the team is balling. I can see why you would say, hey, this guy deserves the MVP. But for me, it's two guys who don't play the position. And number one is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has single-handedly changed everything that the 49ers do on offense. The guy can literally do everything. And when I say do everything, I mean almost everything. He can run the football outside. He can run the football in between the tackles. He can play receiver out wide or line up in the slot and play receiver. He can actually throw the football. I think people forget that he used to play a little bit of a quarterback as well. Christian McCaffrey is the ultimate Swiss Army knife on the NFL field. The only one that I can think that is comparable to him is his teammate in Deebo Samuel, but I wouldn't peg him as a better quarterback than Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is just an absolute beast. He tied an NFL record for consecutive games with a touchdown, and you knew he was getting the football. You knew he was going to touch the football at least 20 times a game, and you still couldn't stop him from getting in the end zone. The guy is just a freak of nature, and you mix that with Kyle Shanahan and his play calling. Like, he's good. Like, he's great. He's obviously a Hall of Famer. He's just like, I don't think I've ever said this ever. I've always had him at like number 2 high. He's the best running back in the NFL. Like, it's not even close at this point. He is the best running back in the NFL. So he's absolutely phenomenal. Love the guy. But for me, the MVP right now is without question Tyreek Hill. That guy is terrifying. Now, hear me. I always, when I'm ranking receivers and I say who's the best in the NFL at this position, I use criteria that most people don't use, right? Having played corner and having played receiver, there's certain criteria I'm going to use that the typical person, the typical fan, the typical analyst is not going to use. 2 factors that I use in particular when it comes to the wide receiver position are, number one, blocking. Can you or do you block? You don't have to be great, but if you're not even willing to do so, you're not in the top 5 consideration for me. You have to be able to block because wide receiver is a well-rounded position. It's not just going out there running routes, getting open, catching touchdowns. Can you block? Okay, so that's the first factor. Can you block? And Tyreek Hill, as undersized as he is at receiver, constantly puts forth amazing effort, and he's good at blocking. People forget, like, yeah, he's smaller on the height end, but that's a solid dude. You're not just going to run through Tyreek Hill. So I love watching what he's doing in the blocking game as well. But the number one factor that I use that most people don't use is this. Who strikes fear in the heart of the defense? Who strikes fear into my heart where I'm like, I know that for this game, I have to come ready. I got to come prepared. I have to study film all week and day of 5 minutes before the game. So I have to be prepared. Like, this guy is in my head, and it's none other than Tyreek Hill. This guy changes the game. Literally, he can change the trajectory of a game like that. Literally take any pass to the crib. And here's the beauty of what Tyreek Hill does that I think is being overlooked. It's not just speed. Because we saw him when he first came in the league with all the speed. He was running off. But now it's speed like meshed with IQ. He actually understands the nuances of playing the position, the art of playing the position of receiver. And you put those 2 combinations together, deadly. The guy is absolutely out of his mind right now. And yes, to me, he's the most valuable player on the Miami Dolphins right now. I think he's the most valuable player in the NFL. You can't name a team that's not better with him. You can't name a team that's not better than what they are right now if they have Tyreek Hill. Like, he's just that good. So for me, it's Tyreek Hill. Darius.
I'll say too, like, and another reason why I like Tyreek Hill is his influence in the game, right? Like, you see a lot of teams kind of trying to model getting those little receivers who have that type of breakaway speed, who can take a slant route to the house. Now you're starting to see, like, we kind of saw with Odell when Odell came in the league, teams started to do that, but now you're really seeing it with Tyreek Hill because of what he's able to do with the ball in his hand. Like you said, he can take a quick screen, take it to the house. Just with his speed, and now he's starting to really understand the zones and the coverages and different things like that. So, woo,
yeah, he's absolutely scary, Coach.
Really quick question. I get all of this Tyreek Hill thing because I've seen it. He's dangerous. He will get. It does not matter who's guarding him, how you're guarding him. He can literally run right by you. I understand that. I've witnessed it. It's scary. But I don't know too many people that walk to the line dribbling and then still get through for a sack. I don't know many people that literally go from one side of the field with two tight ends to the other side of the field to make them have to call the play dead because they can't block him.
Here's my only
I get it, but
here's my only issue, and this is why
MVP.
This is why
I think he's defensive player of the year. Like,
he deserves consideration.
Come on.
The issue, like I said, my only issue my only issues are, number one, to Chris's point, he's getting double teamed 32% of the time. Okay, let's say a team does that the entirety of the game, and they end up winning because of that game plan, right? The point is he's effectively neutralized and thus rendered less valuable to the team. And then number two, he doesn't have the game changing. He has playmaking ability like no other, but game changing ability. Literally, even if he gets a strip sack, if they don't recover it, it means nothing. If he gets a strip sack and the offense doesn't score, it means nothing. Tyreek Hill, if he catches the ball and goes 70 to the crib, puts points on the board and changes the game instantly. Tyreek Hill, if you're down by 17 and he's on the field, you still are like, wait a second. If he gets going, like, he is a nightmare. And here's the thing. Even when you double team him, he runs past it.
You just said it, Darren. You just said it. You saw it. So you saw the double team.
So I'm gonna make this real simple. So we're gonna act like when Myles Garrett gets a ton of pressure because he's getting double teamed and they can't block him. And then the quarterback now cannot sit in the pocket and throw the football. So his completion rate is now like a 40%. He's thrown 2 interceptions because of the pressure from Myles Garrett. Are we saying that does not count as game-changing plays? That doesn't even affect just
absolutely. Listen,
come on, man.
Those are playmaking, but I can't consider them fully game. Here's the reason why. Picture the matchup: Miami Dolphins versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, they realize, hey, we cannot block Myles Garrett. So you know what they shift their game plan to? No more 5 and 7 step drops, only 1 and 3 step drops, screens, quick slants, hitches, and Tyreek Hill takes one of those hitches 70 yards to the crib. You effectively neutralize. Hold on. You effectively neutralize Myles Garrett's pass rush because you're getting the ball out of your hands that much faster. So is he that?
But you're saying that like the Cleveland Browns has a secondary that is just utter garbage. That is one of the best.
I'm not saying
talking about Myles.
See,
and you are eliminated.
That's
You
the
have
part you're
eliminated
missing.
half of a person's playbook because you cannot block him.
That's the
Okay.
part you're
Again,
missing.
you're still saying how he's.
Let me also just say this as
hold
well.
on. So let me
I'm
respond
just
to it.
saying.
Let me respond to it. What the part you're missing has nothing to do with other people's secondaries. It has everything to do with Tyreek Hill. He's getting double teamed by phenomenal secondaries and running past them. He does not care who you line up in front of him. It's not to say that's like saying, like, for example, Richard Sherman on the Legion of Boom. Everybody here agrees at the time was the best corner in the NFL. Julio Jones put 200 yards on him. Is that to say Richard Sherman's trash? No, Julio's just better.
Again,
Tyreek is just better than whoever you line up against him. It doesn't matter what your secondary looks like.
13. 10 games, 13 sacks, and they know they need to double him.
And we're not even talking. And we're not even talking about he gets double teamed 32%. We're not even talking about the fact that his impact, his gravity opens up for everybody else on the defensive line as well. It gets
That's the
one-on-one.
same with Miami, though. That's the same with
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Tyreek Hill.
yeah, his gravity opens up things for Jalen Waddle.
Miles Garrett can
But
only
doubling Tyreek Hill, and now
Nobody in the
he has to
NFL.
be able to be said as MVP.
I'm gonna
right
say
away.
Nobody. Here's a stat. Nobody in the NFL outside of Jamar Chase faces more double teams and bracket coverage than Tyreek Hill. The only one above him is Jamar Chase. That's it. Like, so we can say that, make the same case for the double teams and the pressure. The difference is one guy has the ability to score points like that just by taking one catch to the crib. The other guy has the ability to, affect the game, right? And the way teams prepare on offense. But if we have the proper game plan that says we're going to neutralize your pass rush by getting the ball out quick, I've neutralized your pass rush because you need time to get to me. But if I'm doing this, sit, hut, boom, and it's gone, how are you going to get to me? And I just threw it to the guy who just caught it at 5 yards and took it 73. That's game changing.
If it was that simple, everybody would be doing that to the Cleveland Browns. But the fact that he still has 13 sacks and 4 forced fumbles.
I'm not saying that it's easy. This is why I said
you can't do it.
And you need the proper personnel to even pull that off.
On top of that, you allow that secondary, which he's affecting again, because he's taking away any deep passes. They don't have to play deep. They can play all short and sit on all of those. Like
I think one of the issues here is y'all are thinking that I'm sliding Myles Garrett when I'm not. He deserves consideration. He just wouldn't be number one for me. And the reason is because if you took Myles Garrett off that team, to your point, Coach, the secondary is still good. That
team is not where it is.
The team, Miami's offense, point blank period, is not the same when Tyreek Hill is not on the field, and that's a fact.
Let me ask you this.
But the drop off with taking Myles Garrett off Cleveland's defense, which is the best in the league, as opposed to taking out Tyreek Hill, is massively different.
And we've seen the Jalen Waddle poor man version.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that take, Chris.
We saw the Dolphins with Jalen Waddle by himself.
Exactly. I think,
and then we see what does Tyreek Hill do for Tua? Not what Tua has done for Tyreek Hill. That's the question. What has Tyreek Hill done for Tua? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Because now we're saying Tua is an MVP candidate, and that was a question that everybody was saying.
Here's the other part.
Turnovers.
Here's the other part.
Because of Tyreek Hill.
And here's the other part. Myles has been nice for years. He's been killing it for years. The Browns still haven't gone anywhere. Tyreek Hill has left the Chiefs, and we've seen the effect that it's had on them. Tyreek Hill misses games for the Dolphins, and we've seen the effect that it's had on them. Myles Garrett, whether he's injured or playing on the field, the Browns still have a good defense. Tyreek Hill changes the game, not situations, the game.
And to your point, Darren, most valuable, right? Most valuable player. You take that player off, and what's the difference? That's all he's saying. If Tyreek Hill misses a game, what's the difference for Miami? That whole game plan is changed. Not the whole game plan has changed. You take Myles Garrett, okay, we still got a great secondary. Now we may have to blitz just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We can't just rush our 4. Now we may have to blitz. And if you're a coach,
you have to blitz then.
and if you're a coach, who are you circling first? Myles Garrett or Tyreek Hill?
Here's the stat.
If you're a coach,
Let's go. Let's
All right, cool.
Wait. Let's bring stats in. Let's bring the numbers in here again.
Let's do that.
So when Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins played Buffalo, what did they do? 3 catches, 58 yards, 0 touchdowns. What was the result? They got fried because they neutralized the best player on both teams. He's the best player on both teams every time he steps onto the field. When they played the Kansas City Chiefs, 8 catches, 62 yards. Who won that game? KC. No touchdowns because they neutralized the best player on the field on both sides of the football. This is what happens. That's the Tyreek Hill effect. He's absolutely phenomenal. Myles Garrett absolutely deserves consideration. I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He should win it without question. I think he should be in consideration for the MVP. I would probably put him in like 5 or 6. He deserves consideration. But he's not. Listen, even if he breaks the sack record, now if he breaks the sack record, you move him up into like 3. But we've never seen a receiver get 2,000 yards ever. Like. Ever. And we've seen some of the greatest. We've seen Randy Moss, Terrell.
We've seen close.
We've seen Julio. We've seen Antonio Brown. We've seen phenomenal receivers. And not
what is all that now?
Has touched the 2K yard. It's
what is all that now?
We've seen running back in 2K. We've never seen a receiver do it. I'm just saying. We're gonna move on.
To be fair, there also hasn't been 17 games. And the offensive rules have catered more to offensive players and wide receivers more than what they are. Can you imagine Randy Moss with his 4.2 speed his rookie year in this league?
You're right. Now I won't
Jerry.
I won't deny that.
T.O. Like
I won't deny that.
That would have been.
However, if Tyreek Hill breaks it in 16 games, all that's washed. If he gets 2,000 yards in 16 games, that entire argument.
He had 1,000 in what? 7 games, 8 games.
It goes out of the door if he gets it in 16. So just let's keep that in mind too. And there's a strong
possibility. Let's really think about it. Who is he playing though? These last couple of games.
Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, he didn't.
Just go to the next topic.
Go
to the next topic.
No, I'm not going to the next topic because he tried to be disrespectful. He played in this last game against Sauce and DJ Reader. 9 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Las Vegas. They don't really got nothing to worry about right there. But 10 catches, 146 and a touchdown. New England with I can't remember his name, but he's a really good corner. Christian Gonzalez
Christian Gonzalez locked him up.
Somebody else. 8 catches, 112 yards.
I said, who does he play next?
He played against Philly. 11 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown against Darius Slay, even though they lost the game. Carolina, and everybody knows Carolina's best. They've got really good corners. J.C. Horn, 6 catches, 163 yards at the touchdown. New York Giants, 8 catches, 181 yards, and a touchdown. Denver versus Patrick Surtain, 9 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown. And then the Chargers, before J.C. Jackson comes back to the Patriots, 11 for 215 and 2. No, you didn't just say who is he playing.
Yeah, who is he playing? The next couple games.
There's some names on that list. There's some names. Darius Slade.
I'm not worried about who he already played.
My God.
Yeah, God.
Whew. How you would say you don't care about who he's already played when he's
worried about who he has to go up against to get to that last.
He's already played top tier corners. What makes you think he's not going to do it to lower tier corners? What?
Right. First of all, let's start here. The Jets is not really a good team at all right now. If the team out there right now is defense.
Exactly. You torch the defense.
That's it. But if you're defense, let's start here. You're a defensive player. If the defense is on the field for almost 70% of the game, how much can you really do?
As a corner, that never matters. That only matters to linemen and linebackers. As corners, We are on the field all the time. We are the most conditioned players on the NFL on the field at all times.
And again, I say, how many teams are going to win and do well if you are on the field of the defense?
We're not talking about winning and doing well.
But you are saying it affects defensive linemen, right?
Yes.
What does Myles Garrett play?
What does that even mean? What
does that mean? Being on the field that much affects defensive linemen. So if Myles Garrett is on the field for 35 to 40 minutes because the Cleveland offense can't generate any sort of inconsistency on offense, and he's getting double teamed 33% of the time.
Are they on the field for 30 minutes, though? That's the question. You're making a case, but you never presented facts. That's an assumption. We need facts. Are they on the field more than their offense is? Because if they're not, that's a moot point.
Such a headache. People, let's go to the next topic. Myles Garrett, Tyreek Hill,
okay.
MVP.
So with that being said, I also want to say this because you talk about who are they playing next? The Titans, who have a top 10 defense. The Jets.
I seen who they played already.
The Jets decided to go
backwards.
The Cowboys, your Ravens, and then the Bills again.
Oh yeah, you think he's gonna do something to us?
Yeah,
he did it before. He did it before.
Just let you know.
Let's
recap the Turkey Day games, guys.
I don't want to hear anything from Patriots fans. Y'all have no
he torched y'all last year.
We had some really good games.
He's torched every year now.
On Thanksgiving Day. Let's reel it in. Really good games on Thanksgiving Day. Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, and then the 49ers versus the Seahawks. Talk to me, guys. What were your takeaways from the games? Which one was your favorite? I was going to start with Chris first, but I'll start with you, Coach. Talk to me.
DaRon Bland is a very, very solid corner. I cannot hate on him. He does well. That Dallas defense is a Dallas defense. It's solid. But Dallas is who I think they are. A team that beats up on not good teams and, then says, playoffs, Super Bowl, here we come, and lose in the first round. So that's going to happen again this year. The Lions, they surprised me a bit. They definitely surprised me a bit. I believe that they are better than what they've shown for that, but they have to get it together a bit, especially right now, because if they start to fall off the wheels, we can start to see maybe Dan Campbell's job being talked about a little bit at the end of the year. Not truly firing, but just a little bit. And yeah, that's really it. None other than that, it wasn't really that interesting yesterday. I'm sorry. And the Friday game, that was a waste of time. That was a waste of time, but I got good fantasy points from it. Dolphins gave me good fantasy points. I'll say,
baby, we needed that.
Listen, it was just I don't know what you want me to say when it was so many blowouts. Basically, I'm just like, these games are not entertaining.
Well, it is what it is. The Dolphins Jets game was another display of an MVP. Chris, your thoughts, Turkey Day games, Friday game. What's up?
Oh man. A lot of the games were really boring, a lot of blowouts. The 49ers show when they're fully healthy that they're a legitimate force to be reckoned with. This literally has to be the last year that Ron Rivera is ever coaching in any sort of capacity whatsoever, because it looks like at this point this team is just quits on him. And more importantly, shout out to Jordan Love. Him going to Detroit is probably the most important game for the Detroit Lions fans, actually having purpose on Thanksgiving. And for him to come up there and his first Thanksgiving start, following, in the footsteps of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre beforehand in terms of Packer quarterbacks, debuting on Thanksgiving and just carving up the Detroit Lions defense like that, that's a positive sign to go through if you're a Packers fan. And also, as far as the Black Friday game goes, NFL, if you're going to do that going forward, please pick any other team that's besides the New York Jets. Please.
Stop doing that, man. Come on, man. That game was supposed to feature Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, it's the Jets.
So-
What can go wrong will go wrong. They will find a way to stub their toes.
I get it, but it was supposed to feature Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, until 4 plays happened, and then we had Zach Wilson. So
Exactly. But the
And,
schedule was already.
and we didn't even have Zach Wilson yesterday. It was Tim Boyle.
The schedule was already out. Okay, Darius, talk to me.
It's called
First
flexing.
game.
We could do this for everywhere else. We could do it. For
they
Sunday Night
already
Football.
did it for a game, so just flex them out.
I wouldn't want to. I mean, to me, that first of all, let's talk about it. The Jets have still been playing really good football on the defensive side of the football, so it kind of typically keeps them in every game, right? It's not like they're just getting cracked every week. It's a situation where, I mean, the Jets have a potential to win every game because of that defense. The issue is they just ran up against the MVP, Darius.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I agree. These games were not appealing. Obviously, we know the Lions are going to get a game every year. I think the Lions are going to be who we want them to be, a team that started off hot. And we've seen this before. Teams start off hot, but like I said last week, football is played in these months, November and December, and they allowed over 30 points last week. They allowed over 25 points this week. That defense is an issue. It's not the offense to me. It's the defense. They need to get it together. Dallas, again, they're beating up teams who literally, what are the winning? Like when they play a team that has a winning record, we saw what they do. Just like Miami, we've seen them play against a winning team, and what happened? They lost. Like Chris said, the 49ers, when fully healthy, I don't know, man. Like it's really going to come down to San Fran and Philly, and I think whoever wins that matchup is really gonna represent the NFC. And then that pick six on a Hail, like Chris said, the picks, you throw a pick six on a Hail Mary. That right there, if you're a Jets fan and you're at the game and you see that, you go home and you crawl into your bed and you don't watch no more Jets game after that, because
For
that
99 yards.
for 99 yards, and it was like nobody even tried to tackle him, like they just gave up. But what I will say for Miami, that defense, it's finally clicking. We see with Jalen Ramsey, the effect of Jalen. We talk about Tyreek Hill, we see the effect with Jalen Ramsey. Like Jalen Ramsey coming back, he had a pick in his first game against New England. He tackled that with 2 interceptions last week. And now we see what he's doing for that defense. But as far as the games, I mean, the Packers really surprised me with a win against Detroit, because I thought after that beating that Baltimore handed them that they were just gonna try to beat everybody. They were gonna get revenge, and losing to Green Bay at home, like usual on Thanksgiving, typical Detroit Lions football.
Absolutely. I will say this, that pick six that they're calling the Hail Mary now, absolutely phenomenal IQ. He catches the ball and realizes everybody who can catch me, they're behind me. Goodbye, and takes off. I would also like to shout out Garrett Wilson, because he did get down there, and I know he was tired, but that showed some of his speed as well to actually even just catch up to him. That was pretty phenomenal. He almost had himself a DK Metcalf, but anywho, for me, I just want to talk about the Packers and Lions game. Very simple. I had concerns with this going into the game, and it's still my concern after the game. It's one thing I don't know the Lions can do. As good as they are offense side of the ball and defense side of the ball, there's one thing I have yet to see them do that makes me concerned for their future, at least this year. I've yet to see them come back. They don't play well from behind. Like, that's my biggest issue with Detroit right now, is if they get down big, can they actually put together offensive momentum to get themselves back in the game? Can the defense stifle another team's offense to give their offense time to get back into the game? It's my biggest concern with the Lions right now. Yes, they're good on both sides of the football. Their coaching, the culture, all of those different things, and I think they're still going to win some games. I still think they're going to win that division. But my only concern is very simple. Can you guys play from behind? Because in the playoffs, if you get down, it's going to be really, really tough to win if you're not used to or don't know how to bounce back from that type of adversity. So that's it for me. We're going to jump into the game picks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and give my game picks because I already put them in our chat. So I'm just going to jump out there and give my game picks real quick. Again, the format is very simple. You give your game picks, one explainer, and that's it. So I'm going to start with the games that already took place, obviously. So I had picked Detroit to win. They lost. I picked Dallas, San Fran, and Miami. Now to the games that have yet to be played. I'm going with all right, let's pull this up. I'm going to say I'll take, and this is me just being a homer. It's just me being a homer. It is what it is. I don't care. Atlanta over the Saints, even though my head is telling me otherwise. Atlanta over the Saints. I'm actually going to go Pittsburgh over Cincy. I picked Jacksonville over the Texans. I don't think the Texans are going to sweep Jacksonville. Tampa over the Colts. I'm going to go with the New York Football Giants over the Patriots. Sorry, Darius. But you said your Sankey, so, it's all good. I'm going to go with the Titans over the Panthers. I'm going to go with the Rams over the Cardinals. I'm going to say that's going to be my explainer game. I'm going to go with KC over the Raiders. I'm going to go with Philly over the Bills. I'm going to go with Baltimore over the Chargers, even though I think that's going to be a closer game than people think. And I'm going to go with Minnesota over the Bears. My explainer game is going to be the Browns versus the Broncos. I think this is a full defensive type game. I don't expect to see a lot of scoring in this game. To Chris's point, you have a potential MVP candidate in Myles Garrett on the defensive side of football. Obviously, in my opinion, definitely defensive player of the year, at least right now in the season. The guy's an absolute – he's just a beast. And then their secondary is playing pretty well as well. The question is, can their offense put up points and consistently put up points or put up enough points to win them the football game? Going against a Broncos team that, again, has a pretty solid defense. Patrick Surtain is playing like a Pro Bowler. Again, Patrick Surtain doing his thing. Just a really good, solid defense. And then Russell Wilson looks to have found his stride. I believe they won four of their last 5 games. They're really on a tear right now. Looks like that Sean Payton, Russell Wilson magic is starting to catch its wind. Getting some really good wins, beating the Chiefs and different things like that. So I think then their last game with Courtland Sutton just showed he was like, listen, I play basketball, dog. I'm going up here, I'm rebounding this thing. Nothing you can do. Absolutely phenomenal. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game to see. And I'm going to pick Denver in this game. I think their momentum is just high right now. I know the Browns look good, really, really, really good on defense. Best defense in the league statistically. I still will give that to the 49ers, though. But the Browns look really good. But I think the Broncos, they just have momentum right now. And I just trust their quarterback play a little bit more than I do Cleveland. We're going to jump right to you, Darius. Game picks, remember, one explainer.
All right, so for my game picks, we got the Patriots and the Giants. As much as I want us to tank, I'm always going to pick my boys. Regardless if we win or lose, I'm going to pick my boys. I'm going to be in front of that TV. Steelers, Bengals, no Joe Burrow. I'm going to take the Steelers. Jags, Texans, that's my explainer game. I'm going to come back to that one. Buccaneers, Colts. I'm going to take the Colts first off a bye week. I like what they're doing. Saints, Falcons. I'm going to do it. I'm with you, Avery. I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm going to take ATL. Panthers, Titans. I'm going to take the Titans. Rams, Cardinals, Kyler Murray. I'm going to take the Cardinals. Browns, Broncos, again, a good game. I think probably the game of the week almost. I'm going to take the Broncos. Chiefs, Raiders. No more smoking cigars. I think the Chiefs get back on the winning streak. Bills, Eagles. Last time I picked the Eagles to lose, they won. So I'm going to just take the Eagles. Ravens, Chargers. The Ravens are going to show you why they're the best team in the AFC. And they're going to beat the Chargers. And then Bears, Vikings. Come on, Josh Dobbs. Are we seriously? And in my explainer game, the Texans, Jaguars. This to me is the game of the week, right? And I'm going to tell you why. 1, the winner of this game is going to win a division. 2, let's not forget, the Texans beat the Jaguars on the road early in the season. C.J. Stroud went into Jacksonville, and they beat them. And that team is playing for D'Amico. Like, that team literally is playing for D'Amico Ryans. They're having fun. The defense is good. CJ Stroud is going to show you guys why he is going to – I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year by a landslide, but he's also going to tell you guys why he's a top 5 quarterback in the league after he puts up I think he's going to put up one of his best performances against that Jaguars defense. So I'm taking the Texans. And like I said, I think whoever wins that game is going to win that division and represent the AFC South. So
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm only mad at top 5 quarterback. That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, listen, stand on it. Chris,
stand on business.
Stand on business. Chris, gameplay picks, one explainer. Let's do it.
Do. Chris,
you're muted, sir. You're muted.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So here we go. Colts Buccaneers. Let me start over. Colts Buccaneers. Give me the Bucks. Giants Patriots. Yikes! I'll just say the first to 10 points wins, and hopefully that'll be the Patriots. Bengals and Steelers. No Joe Burrow. I'm going with the Steelers. Titans and Panthers. Give me the Titans. Jaguars and Texans. Give me the Texans. The Saints and the Falcons. Sorry, Avery. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I just at this point I've lost all confidence in Arthur Miller to use any sort of his offensive weapons correctly.
Arthur Smith.
And you guys need a head coach and an offensive coordinator that'll actually know how to use them properly.
Arthur Smith.
So Rams Cardinals. Give me the Rams. Browns Broncos. I said the Browns continue their streak. Bills Eagles. That'll be my explainer game. I'll come back to that. Chiefs Raiders. The Chiefs are coming off a really bad loss, so they're going to go to Las Vegas and probably put like a 30 burger on them. Raiders, Chargers, Ravens, Chargers. I'm going to go with Baltimore. The Chargers are kind of like dead in the water at this point. Bears and Vikings. I'm actually going to go with Chicago. I'm going to go at the Eagles, Bills. Give me the Eagles. Cam Jurgens came back to fortify the right guard position, and that was Deontay Swift's best game in well over a month because I think us getting our offense. DeAndre Swift's best game since Cam Jurgens came back. So I think we're going to see a little bit more of the run game getting utilized, which is honestly perfect because we just can't keep expecting Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 30 to 35 times every game and expecting to win. And I think, the Eagles are going to do their ball control offense. Obviously those 3rd and 1s or 4th and 1s, the tush push. As long as they do the tush push, we're going to win the game. The Eagles are undefeated in every single game they used the tush push. Their only time that they didn't do it and they lost was against the Jets. Statistically proven.
All right. Now, I'm not mad at it at all. Didn't know that about the tush push. Very good fact right there. Coach, game picks, one explanation, sir.
Well, I guess the Eagles going to win their next game because they definitely going to do the tush push. That's just, man, I'm highly surprised about that, actually. Oof. All right. So I wish I would have got my picks in. I would have definitely got the Lions Packers wrong, but for the most part, I would have picked the right ones for the Jets, 49ers, and the Cowboys. That was kind of clear. But let's see. Steelers, Bengals. I'm sorry. Jake Browning was nice in Washington, but this ain't Washington. So, Steelers. Texans. I got the Texans sweeping them, and I got the Texans winning this division. I'm sorry. Texans. I'll take the Bucks, actually. I'll take the Bucks on this one. I'll take the Saints. Just Saints is an overall better team. Do I got to choose between the Patriots and the Giants?
Unfortunately, you do.
Make it a tie.
Tie game. There we go. That's my hot take. Patriots and Giants, they both suck, so it's going to be a tie game. It's going to be 10-10. Panthers, Titans. I got to pick between this one, too. That's crazy. I'm going to just go ahead and say the Panthers get another dub. Bryce Young looks somewhat competent. Rams is going to pull this one out versus the Cardinals. Myles Garrett is going to be Myles Garrett, and they're going to win that game. The Chiefs is going to get back against the Raiders. No more cigars. Eagles are doing the tush push, so we know what happens there. Bears and Vikings. Josh Dobbs gets another one. I'm sorry. I think he does. But Ravens Chargers. I think the Ravens will win. And honestly, I'm going to agree with Avery on this one. I don't think we win by much. And that's because I believe this game is going to determine whether or not, one, Lamar is a true MVP. Two, can he overcome not having his true number one weapon really on the field with him? And three, what are those other skill position guys going to do? We know what Zay Flowers can do. Is OBJ going to suit up? Is he going to be able to produce again another 100-yard game? Is Isaiah likely going to step up and become a solid tight end for us? And are we going to run the ball with Keaton Mitchell more or not? Because we got to know with this guy's speed, can he be a valuable option? This is going to be the time for, on national stage, the Ravens to show up and show out. And if they can't, it's going to tell who they really are this year.
All right. I like it. Real quick, Isaiah Likely, I understand the reason why he's not as good as he could be right now. I noticed something when I was watching their last game. Look at his arms. They're tiny. He needs to get in the weight room. He's a really good tight end. Let me put that out there. He's a really good
right
tight
now,
end.
he is just a receiving tight end. He has not gotten there yet, and I agree with that.
He's got pencil arms. He's got to get in the weight room.
Kohler is bigger than him, and that's why Kohler is doing good on the inline.
But the reality is this. If he goes to another team, let's say the Chiefs or, a team that is built around like throwing the football like that, sure, you can be just a pass catching tight end. You play for the Baltimore Ravens. Get in the weight room. You guys run the football. So anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into a Hot Take Saturday. It sounds like Coach Braxton already gave us his. He said that this is going to be a tie this week with the Patriots and the Giants. I like it. He also said that C.J. Stroud is the MVP frontrunner right now, but we're going to leave that where it lies. So we're going to jump right to you, Chris. Do you have any hot takes for us?
Just for this week.
Just for this week. If you don't have any, it's cool.
Nah, I don't have any this week.
All right, Darius.
For you, Dan.
Darius, hot take.
My hot take for this week is the Buffalo Bills. Not only will the Buffalo Bills, they will lose, but Josh Allen will throw 2 pick sixes in the first half.
Wow.
One to Darius Slay. And then you know what? I'm going to do it. He's going to throw one to Darius Slay, and then he's going to throw another one to Kevin Byard.
Okay. I like it. Coach, did you say you had another hot take?
Yeah, so as people might not know, the Jags defense has actually been very, very productive when it comes to taking the ball away this year. I don't just see the Jaguars losing to the Texans. C.J. Stroud is going to go for 400, 4 tutties, 0 interceptions or fumbles. And at least 2 receivers are going to go over 100.
I like it. That's spicy. I like it.
4 tutties? 4 tutties?
I like it.
He did it once before, and I got faith in the young man that he about to do it again. He is heating up at the right time.
Not mad at it. I am not mad at all. Okay. All right. My hot take is My hot take is this. The Broncos completely shut out the Browns. They do not score a point. The Broncos win that game 24-0. I said it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's going to be it for us at the Air It Out podcast. Thank you for joining us. Please do me a favor. Go follow us on all your social media platforms. That is Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Inside the Hashes, but on Twitter, it's Inside Hashes. And then do me a favor. Go on to the website, www.insidethehashes.com. Check out the website. Again, you get all of your football needs, literally podcasts, gaming, blogs, interviews, all of those different things. And then go to YouTube, hit the like button, please, but also subscribe. And then turn on live notifications. That way you can get your comments left right here live on the show. We like to interact with every single one of you that comes on. And if you didn't know, what you could do is just scan this here QR code right here. It'll take you exactly where you need to go for all those different things. For Coach Braxton, for Darius, for Christopher Thomas, my name is Avery. This is the Aired Out Podcast brought to you by Inside the Hashes. And my last thing is this. If Matt Ryan would have stopped patting football, he would have more than an MVP. He would also have
Matt Ryan is number 5 in the
all
most
I'm saying is like
2018.
More than just an MVP.
He only played in 67 games.
That's all I'm saying is
yeah, you won't hear that bad stat about Mr. Matty Ice.
He's better in the booth.
I mean, I'm just saying.